my understanding is that Toyota uses lanthanum in some of their batteries. How does lanthanum affect that chemistry, and why is it so important in batteries?
Well, so lanthanum goes in nickel metal hydride side.
Nickel, okay.
So, and indeed, it's critical. It's part of the Misch metal blend that they have. So I don't know. I mean, and I don't know as much about materials or supply chain stream for lanthanum, so I can't talk really about that. But for the lithium, I track this down, and it's just not really on the radar of people who are truly in the know.
Frank Marcus at Motor Trend. Two more points on the lanthanum thing. Wondered if any of you had followed this thing I stumbled across about a year ago when I was looking at this. Oh my God, we're going to be running out of the precious metal thing. A motor technology that doesn't require rare earths. Chorus Meshcon, I think, does it. And they have some kind of virtual multiple phase winding situation that you can change the phase as it goes, so somehow you get the low end torque and the high end whatever. And the first use of it was supposed to be nose gear electric drive of 737s. I don't know where they are on that at this point, but I mean that sounded like a kind of a neat way to get around the problem, because isn't that where an awful lot of that goes into the actual electric motors?
Well, the neodymium is critical for the Prius. It's in the critical ingredient in the motor generator.
It's probably on our badges too. These are neodymium magnets right here, as almost for sure.
Yeah, so. High strength magnets are neodymium. Pickups on electric guitars are samarium. I mean, for some of these, there's just no replacement.
And the other thing is, I wondered if is Toyota mining all 25 pounds of that stuff back out of Priuses? Is there some reclamation program for all those valuable items in there? The 25 pounds of lanthanums or whatever, or lanthanite.
No electric Prius, we haven't found it yet.
Oh, none of them has crashed and burned yet.
That's good.
They're all accelerating so fast they can't catch it.
Well, I can comment just briefly on the recycling question. We have one of the largest battery recyclers just north of us in Pittsburgh called Metco. And they do recycle nickel metal hydride batteries, which have a fair amount of rare earth metals in it. All they care about is the nickel, right? It doesn't cost enough right now. Even though we have a potential issue, it doesn't exist right now. My question was, well, do you guys recycle lithium-ion batteries? No, we don't recycle them. We send them to Canada. There's a government program up there. Well, what would it take for you to recycle lithium-ion batteries? And they said, oh, put platinum in them. Right? Right, great answer.
That's funny.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
Two more questions from the audience. Go ahead.
I have a quick one on the lanthanides and then another one for Dr. Kreda. Are they always all found together, all these rare earths? The same ore body has your samarium and everything? Pretty much?
My understanding is that there are certain ore bodies that have what are considered the heavies and the lights. Okay. And the lights are on the left end of the periodic table on that row, yes, and the heavies are on the right side. So, again, my understanding, and I'm far from an expert on these issues, but a lot of it is in the refining process itself and how effective the refining process is. And it's an incredibly catalyst-intensive process to do the refining. But what Molycorp is saying is that they can provide many of the heavies and many of the lights. And that's some of the discussion now in some of these speculative ventures like that I've mentioned, Arafura Resources and so on. What is the quality of their ore bodies, and will they be producing the light ends of the lanthanides or the heavies? And I've just told you everything I know about it.
Yeah, I'm
trying to make it more simple than it is.
Yeah, they are all very similar. They're neighbors in the periodic table, and they are, in fact, for that reason, they come together, and they're also very difficult to separate for the same reason. So a lot of the cost is indeed the separation.
Okay, and Dr. Kreda, another quick one. Your favorable figures on CNG, does that include any reckoning for biomethane, or does it just get better if you count that?
I don't know. But it does not include that, no.
Okay, thank you.
Did you have a question? One last question, yeah?
So all of you guys are into CNG and everything else. What do you say to the public that's so interested in electric cars because they seem to grasp electric vehicles?
What do I say to them? In what context? Yeah, what's the...
Because the public there are many people that 30% of the public has said at some point they would buy an electric vehicle.
Oh, great. If they will, then let's do it. Right? Let's see if they'll do. If that many people actually will buy plug-in hybrid vehicles with battery packs that cost $4,000 or $5,000, whatever it is, then indeed there's a market for it, and this should be going forward. Right? So, but the question is what they say they will do, and the reality of the situation is inherently different. So
Or do they even understand the question?
Yeah. Yeah,
But
exactly.
with ethanol, you say that it has purely to do with well-to-wheel, but with the people will still buy ethanol vehicles and use it occasionally. But with the electric vehicle, is it less well-to-wheel, or because if the public will buy it?
There's a participatory thing with it. They can play the game of plugging it in themselves and getting less gasoline. They actually have, I think, a more tangible sense that they are using less gasoline, right? And in fact, they may well be producing more CO2 ultimately by doing that, but they don't see that, right? So it's tactile. What do you see with your own hands? I think the consuming public is interested in that.
And the other thing about ethanol is you can't buy it. You know, there are 1,000 ethanol stations and 150 or 120,000 gasoline stations. So even if you wanted it, you can't find it.
Maybe I can, Jan asked a question. Bill, you talked about the economics and what you see in terms of the plug-in hybrid market, and Luann asked about who would buy the electric car. Who's the target for the plug-in hybrid? I mean, what's the income level for the people that would buy that vehicle? A small subset of the hybrid buyer, and what's the income level for the hybrid buyer? $100,000 a year plus.
So rather than try to wrap this up with a neat bow around it, which I believe is impossible, I think I'll settle for asking the panel one final question, which is, what is your advice for Toyota?
Oh, God.
Turn the cameras off.
Keep that foot to the floor.
I'm going to quote Bobby Flay, and just keep doing what you're doing.
I can't tell them how to run their business. I think it's a great company, and I think this is clearly they're having they're going through a rough patch. But I mean, they've proven themselves over decades, and I think they just need to keep, as Jan said, just stick to your knitting, and I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I can only reinforce what these two have said. Diversify your driving fleet. Continue to increase efficiency and maintain reliability. I mean, what else? I mean, it's a pretty good path, seems to me.
Great. Thank you very much to our panel.
Thank you.